Hey, welcome everybody. This is a screenshot of the syllabus, and I promise I am not going to read the entire syllabus to you. You're all adults or close to being an adult, and you should be able to read that. It is in the course shell, so obviously you've kind of found somewhere that you need to be, and it's clearly labeled, so it's in here. But I do want to take a moment and just kind of hit the weekly assignment schedule. And the reason I want to do that is a couple of different things. Assignments and discussion posts during the first week are due by 11:59 Eastern Time. Everything else from Module 2 on to the finishing touches, so to speak, are required to be submitted by 11:59 in your local time zone. I'm not sure why the difference is, but it's important to remember that if you're not in the Eastern time zone, it may impact your required submission time. So that being said, you can see in Module 1, there's some reading that has to be done, and then there's a discussion. So we need to make sure that's taken care of because there's some interaction not only in your response, but your response to your peers and things of that nature. There's an activity for who can be fired, and then Project 1 and Project 2, which I'll touch on here in a moment as well. So, and then again, the rest of the course, Module 2 through 8, you can submit within your time zone. But in that first module, 11:59 Eastern Time, it throws people occasionally, so I always try and emphasize that. But you can see each week or each module, there's a number of required deliverables, and we'll talk about those throughout the week. I'm trying to help people stay on task because working full-time or even working part-time and attempting to go to school and stuff, man, I'll tell you what, that's a full boat to row, so to speak. So different things that we got going on, and you can see through here. And again, you can see as well when you look at the syllabus for yourself. When I went to my undergraduate degree, the instructor at the beginning of each class was required to read the syllabus to us, and we had to sign a document at the end. It drove me crazy. I thought, I can read it for myself. But so with that in mind, I want to change screens here. Let's see if it'll do it. Yes, it did. It may delay on your view. This presentation is also available to you. So the name of the course is Human Resource Management 225, Proactive Human Resource Strategies. I like the title because as an HR professional, we really need to be proactive in how we protect not only the organization, but our employees. We want to make sure that they're taken care of from a legal, regulatory, and compliance perspective. And that's what this course is about, is protecting the organization and its employees as we work through that. So a couple of the big things, obviously, the course description. Again, we've kind of talked on what that is. The business scenario. SNHU really likes to try and develop scenarios that are applicable and similar to those you might find in a real-world setting. And I will tell you that these are fairly accurate. You will deal with the Department of Labor, the EEOC, state unemployment or work comp organizations. There's a number of different things, and I'm scrolling down because I really want to show you Project 1. If this is not your first class, you're probably familiar with the kind of the routine, if you will. There's usually a couple of projects with milestones inserted in those to help stay on focus. But for Project 1, you are investigating a Department of Labor complaint. You want to make sure it's valid. And so we're going to analyze various laws, regulations, and policies and talk about risk mitigation. Again, sometimes the damage is done, so we have to look at how are we going to handle that or mitigate those risks. So Project 2, you're continuing to work on your investigation. and things that are going on there. So more details to follow as we get closer to those things and along those lines. So some tips: pay close attention to the feedback. I pretty much follow the rubric as what I use for grading, and then I will inject my own personal employment experience into that. So don't hesitate to ask questions. That's what I'm here for. If you have questions about the assignment beforehand or feedback afterwards, I'm happy to sit down and visit with you. We can set up a Teams meeting or a phone call or something like that, and along those lines. So with that in mind, that's really all I have from the high level of things. Please make sure that you get on and do that first week submissions by Sunday at 11:59. So Eastern time versus your particular time zone. A little bit about myself. I did post an introduction in the My Instructor section, but really don't touch on my professional backgrounds. So I'm going to take just a minute to give you some information on that. I've been in HR for 20 years roughly, in manager, director roles. For that time frame, I transitioned over from a training and development role, and at that point it was not considered under HR, and actually developed the first HR manager position within that department that I was working in. So dealt with a lot of regulatory things, employment law perspectives, given a lot of guidance to senior leaders and executives on everything from interpreting federal and state employment laws to drafting policies, handling investigations, handling the mitigation when we find that there is in fact a problem. So I've got a lot of experience in that background. I happen to like that. I enjoy that part of my HR job, but there's a lot of information to consider when you're looking at that. I hope you enjoy the course. I look forward to interacting with you in the classroom. And again, if you have questions, concerns, or comments, don't ever hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, thanks everyone, and we'll see you in the classroom.